Okay. Today our discussion is about the permission database structures. I will describe about the concept with the recording, so that in the future, sometimes because when I say too much, sometimes you need to replay and then to capture again. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the things that are also basic and then slowly build up the understanding, and from there I will address the problem that you are facing, whereby when you try to remove somebody from the role owner, then he is also removed from the tenant owner. Everything is being removed, right? Understand?
Yeah.
So to explain this concept to everybody, I will start with the most basic. So some of the things that I've said, maybe you already know. Please bear with me, because I just want to establish this so that in the future, anybody that, let's say even for RERD, the tech support, they need to understand to fix the bug, fix the data, then they can watch the video. First of all, in BigLedger, we have a master database table. This one is a global. That means that everybody will hit this table every time some user log in. This one will have all 100% list of all the users. Okay, and then after that we have a different tenant database. So this tenant can be Cell Lab tenant, Sengheng tenant, Home Mart tenant. Then this one can be Thunder Match tenant, and so on and so forth. This is a database in RDS. Now, this database and this database, they are sharing the same schema. Okay. Although they are sharing the same schema, but the way the schemas are being used in here versus here are different. And even from here to here, it may be different. But the database structure is the same. Okay. So now, whenever we talk about adding a user to when they sign up and register, a user sign up and register, you will see that in the master database, there in the app login subject, a row will be added, and this row can be added with a GUID, let's say A7, B4, 5, whatever GUID, 50 character string, with, let's say this is RERD. Okay, then this RERD login subject will have multiple. This is a one-to-many relationship. There will be an app login principal. The meaning of this app login principal, it can be many to one, is because maybe RERD can log in via email. So there's a RERD@wavelet.net. But RERD also can log in using his phone. So he got the 6011 - something. But of course, if you log in through the email, this is also somewhat linked to the AWS Cognito. Maybe RERD want to do some automation, so he want to provide access ID and access key to a programmer who is going to take this access ID and access key and then put it inside the server, but he doesn't want the programmer to actually know his username and password. And maybe he even want to set this access key. He can generate multiple access keys, just like our Amazon IAM, but he can generate multiple access key, and he can even specify, okay, this access key is for the sync of a sales order. So he give it to this company to be able to sync the sales order on behalf of him. Then he generate another access key. This access key is for backup. we can have a multiple principal tied to the same Ariadne user account, and all these are in the master database table. Is that clear? Okay, good. So now I go to the next level. Ariadne can be in different group. Okay, let's just say we have a finance department. Now I'm talking about group. Okay, finance department. We have a MIS department. We have a AWS department. Hi, come in. Just take a seat. Yeah, just find anyway. Okay, we have a finance department. We have MIS department. We have AWS department. We have let's say DevOps department. Okay. Now we have 4 different departments, and we have different roles. Okay, and then we have different permission. Wow. So what happened is like role. There are many ways of doing the role and the permission. Now please take note that this role, it can be functional. That means that can back up. This role can be, let's say, view billing of AWS. This role can also be perform backup. AWS. Maybe to view the billing of AWS, I want to allow finance department to view, MIS department to view, but perform backup is only AWS department and MIS department. It's possible, right?
The result must be above.
Never mind, you can watch the video. Okay? So what happened here? What happened here is that you have a multiple group can tie to multiple roles. So this is a many-to-many relationship. Agree? Okay. Now, sometimes I also want to assign the role directly to the user without going through the group. That means that I want to assign this role view billing. I want to add, let's say Yufang. Here is another user, XYZ123 or something like that, 53. Okay, this user Yufang, I directly assign the role also can. This is also a many-to-many relationship. That is why there's an intermediate table. And at the same time, if I want to assign multiple user to multiple group, also can. So this is a many relationship. I'm going to come to your question very soon already. So this permission, you have to take note, there are 2 types of permission. Okay, there are actually more types, but I will talk about the easy way first. Because when you look at the permission, some permission are actually, you know, when we create the account platform, there's a lot of applet, right? So sometimes the user click into the applet. Then when they click into the applet, they create an applet that says that cannot sell below cost. Or when sell below cost, prompt a warning or something like that. So when they talk about clicking into the applet cannot sell below cost, or when there's a sell below cost, prompt a warning or something like that, then you will have a situation, because this permission, we have 100,000s of applet developers. So when you have 100,000s of applet developers, in each of the applet they have their own custom permission. Maybe this one hide, this one show, this one or something like that. You know, we don't want to be hard coding all these permission. inside the account.com. So what happened is that in the future we are going to create another endpoint that is allow developer to add permission or install permission into each of the tenants that want to use their applet. You understand? So in this permission, it can be used at the front end, and the logic when the Angular program call the permission on behalf of a user to load all the permission that he has, it will load the permission. The API side don't know how it's going to be used. The backend don't know how it's going to be used. But the Angular side, who actually load the permission, will decide how this permission can do this, cannot do that, or something like that. Now, there's another type of permission that is an API level permission. This API level permission means that because what the Angular side programming, what they do, how they can see cost, cannot see cost, the API don't care and don't know. The API just care that you call this API, and if you want to create a sales order, let's just say there's a bug in the Angular that allow the user to actually, or there's a programmer who use the program very smart. He go and inspect the code and all that. He discover the API, then he go and call himself directly the API using Postman. The second type of permission will guard this. If you do not have a permission to create an invoice in this API, then you cannot create the invoice, and all that stuff. Even if you hack the code in the Angular, also you cannot create invoice because the API is in the server side that the user has no control. So
it's currently applied with the current permission. It's applied.
Yeah. So when when we talk about the permission, there are two types of permission. Now, having said all this,
can you say client side and server side?
Well, I want to give you a full picture first. So before I continue, now I want to talk about the permission target, which is permission target. I'm referring to sometimes you can create invoice, but you can only create invoice for company A. You can create a sales order, but you can only create sales order for branch B. But sometimes you can create, if you are a supplier, you log into the account.com platform, you can create the sales order, but you can only create the sales order for yourself, regardless of which branch, by entity. So when it comes to the target, usually it is referring to you create something by branch, by company, by role, by entity, by whatever criteria. You can create by this, by that, by whatever. Okay? So now we have three things here. One is the permission, one is the people. I do not care how you group these people, whether it's you reach this person through here by row, or from here to here and then to here, or directly to here. You can also assign a permission directly to a user. So I will consider this group, whether it's a group role or login subject, as who. Okay? Then this one is like the which. It means that who can create invoice for which branch. Understand? This is permission, is like what? What can you do? What can you do? Can you create an invoice? Can you edit an invoice? Can you do? So there's a what, there's a who, there's a which. Okay? So in order to link all these three together, what we do is that we have an app. This one is
Permission assignment.
Permission assignee. Then there's a target link table. So this table essentially is allowing you to tie the permission with the who and by what, because you can have a permission to create an invoice assigned to a certain group of people for which branch or for which company or for which supplier account. Understand?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we are so good, so far so good. Now, just now, when you, this one I need to explain the process a little bit. Whenever a user sign up to the account.com and create a username and password, it is just like when you sign up a Bitbucket account or a GitHub account. Although elderly, let's say you are the administrator for a Wavelet or BigLedger Bitbucket account, that means that it's like you are the administrator of this tenant, but you still cannot sign up the user. Let's say Daim, he just joined Wavelet. We will tell Daim, you go and sign up a Bitbucket account, then after that you give us the user ID. Okay, that's one way. Or the second way is that we already have this tenant, we want Daim to join, but he doesn't have an account, we can invite Daim to join. So Daim, when he joins, he will first need to create a user in the app login subject of this master. Now, but you need to understand that each app login subject can be accessing multiple tenants, but not all tenants. Let's just say Seng Heng boss, he can access to Seng Heng and Omar.
Yeah.
Then Thunder Mesh boss only can access to Thunder Mesh tenant, but not other tenants. Okay. But if let's say I'm a customer, end user, I buy computer from Thunder Mesh and I have a member program. Then I also buy from Seng Heng. I have a member program. My user ID in the account platform is 1 in the master. So every time when a tenant want to add a user into the tenant, because this master and the tenant are using the same database schema. So every time, let's say I'm a member of the master already, then now Thunder Mesh, I want to join it as a member. So I will have a program that actually add my user ID app login subject in here to the Thunder Mesh tenant table. Okay? So now I want to go one level deeper to talk about the permission. When I create a new tenant, actually there are 2 permissions I need to create. The first permission that I need to create is at the master level, indicating that because in the master database schema, I also have one table called the tenant table. So in this tenant table, to me, it is like the target. Because in the master level, I need to, when I add a user, when he created a tenant, I need to indicate that this user has access to this target. This is in the master level. Because when a user is in the certain tenant, forget about the tenant level first, I talk about the master. When a user is added to a tenant, I need to associate this user with the tenant. Because later on when I want to allow him to download the applet, to install the applet or something like that, somebody has to pay for the subscription of the software. So there's a linkage. Now, if I go inside this tenant, when I first create a tenant, each of the tenant also need to have an owner, correct or not? Now, for Samira, for the question that you asked me just now, when somebody is being removed from the role, then he also cannot call the tenant and access the tenant.
Yes.
You need to look at it from 2 areas. The first area is you need to inspect at the master level. whether the association is being accidentally removed. The second check that you need to have is at the tenant level, because when we add a user to inside the tenant, let's say I want to specify Stephen Boy as the owner of a tenant Seng Heng. Let's say Seng Heng. So Stephen Boy is the owner of a tenant Seng Heng. In this master, I will need to use a target, because in here I saw many tenants, so I need to specify he's a member or owner or administrator of Seng Heng tenant. In here, I need to use a target. Now, the same permission schema structure, when it is being used in the tenant, is different already, because when it is inside this tenant, I want to specify Stephen Boy as the owner of this tenant or administrator of this tenant. I don't have target, because in this tenant, I do not have a full list of tenants. I do not have a list of all other tenants. These tenants do not know each other's existence. But in this world, they just know that Stephen Boy is being added to the add login subject, and Stephen Boy is being assigned a permission or a role as a tenant owner, hard-coded directly. Tenant owner, permission to do everything, super user, super duper root user. So when you are troubleshooting this, the error can come from multiple sources. I'm not giving you an answer because I'm trying to understand when you say that you remove a row, and also, sorry, just 1 second. You see, when a user is being removed from the row, you are actually cutting this type, right? When you are cutting this type, remove from the row, there could be a possibility that the previous logic in the programming is wrong, in the sense that, let's just say I have a permission to, let's say permission is tenant owner permission, tenant or row owner.
Row owner, yes.
Okay, let's say row owner permission. This permission is a row owner, and this what row? What row specifically?
Just role owner, just role owner.
Okay, just row owner. Then the assignee is who? Let's say the assignee.
The user.
Okay, directly the user, RERD.
Yes. Yeah.
Then the target.
We just assign role to the user. That's
Maybe that is the problem, because there is no full understanding of how this works. Actually, most of the programmers is complex. I don't blame. It's really complex. So what happened is that when you remove this guy row owner as this from all target, or maybe the way the program code is that they just check for the permission and the permission code and also the assignee row. The program that actually handle the owner part, tenant owner, is supposed to be a different permission.
yes, that's what I
Yeah,
said.
so it's supposed to be a different permission. Maybe in this permission, they mix up with this permission. There is a possibility, but I'm not sure. Maybe this is not the raw problem, but maybe yes, because previously, when it was originally being done, there was some time ago when Shereen started doing this. Actually, the owner and the admin is hard coded to the group here, which is not workable. So after 3 months of
You mean admin can be only in group admins?
no, because when I have this structure, right, if I want to have a group admin or I want to have a row admin, right, I can actually have a target here to be the group 1, 2, 3, or group for finance department itself, or group for MIS department. With these structures, I can actually have the target. That means that I can have the role as the permission and as the target itself.
And the user as actually it's work fine here because the permission itself as assignee and the user as target.
Permission is assignee.
Assignee, and the user is the target. The user is the target. We assign role for user. So the permission role is assignee and the user is the target.
The user is the target.
Yeah, it's right from this side. So what I'm saying, what I want to do, I want to remove this role owner, this permission role owner. I don't want to remove tenant owner. When I tried, I need to identify exactly role owner permission. I want to remove it. When I tried, it removed tenant owner.
So then there could be a bug in they may be using the same code, or maybe there is an error in just a small mistake in the coding. It's possible.
And there is one thing I found. When we create a new tenant, there is system definition permission, right? Go inside permission table inside that schema, right? You have. When we create a new tenant, there is a table called app permission definition, right?
Yes.
It consists data. It consists
the app
data.
permission definition is this table.
Content.
This table.
Okay, it contains data. It contains data, right?
What data? No,
Right.
this contain no data. This should contain only the definition.
I mean the definition.
So
I mean the definition.
this definition
Yeah.
is something that is hard-coded that we pump into the system.
Exactly.
Okay, and whenever you add a user, remove a user, you are creating and deleting the link table. You are creating and removing entries here only.
Yeah.
So when you can configure the group and the role independently of the permission, do not be mixed up together, don't confuse. Because when I see some of the screens that are being designed, they actually mix the creation of a role with assigning of the permissions with target all mixed together. So when you mix together, you will have a high chance that everybody get confused or some of the logic get saved wrongly or something like that. So the importance of when you want to do add, assign or create or some permission, you should only be modifying this table. This is the only table that you need to either add or remove.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Only this table. So when you create role, add user, all this role things it should not affect this at all.
Unless they delete. Unless they delete.
If they delete a role, they delete a user from a group, then
you have to remove the intersection
user,
as well.
The user has specific permissions. Each user has specific permissions, right? The user has specific permissions. For example, this user, he has a permission as a tenant owner, and he has a permission as role admin. These permissions, right?
So where are you storing this information?
In this target, yes, and that's
in this link table.
Yeah, in this
or
link
in this table.
No. This is definition. I store it here.
Okay.
So
So the target is the user, or the assignee is the user. The
no,
user.
the target is the user. The target is the user. The target. The assignee is the role.
From my
The target is here is the database.
Different to one you want to
assignee
say.
is the user.
Okay.
Assignee is the user. But here is different. The
Okay.
assignee is the role here.
Vincent, now, for example, if we have groups and we have roles, I mean, we have we have the groups and we have the permission. For example, I remove a group. What will happen to these people who are assigned to that group?
Okay, then they will not have permissions linked to them. That means that let's say when I assign this permission to a group and this user is in a group, now I remove this user from the group, then this user will not have this permission anymore.
if we remove the group also, here the lines we don't remove them, we just leave them. Right?
We should also remove them.
Okay.
But if we delete a group, we should delete here.
Yes.
But in the event that even if it is not deleted, the permission also will
Of course,
not,
yeah, but I mean logic. It will go and try to select will not.
Yeah.
Permission. Who add them? Who define? Who put the definition? You
This
Yeah.
definition.
This is a hard.
Okay, there are two types of definition that permission definition I explained. One is API definition. This API one we will hard code it, right? No choice.
Okay, yeah.
Then there is another type of definition that is applet developer defined.
Exactly.
So for that kind of definition, we will grant the applet developer to have the permission to create permissions or to have the insert into the different tenant.
Okay.
What I want exactly, I have role assigned to user, role assigned to user as role admin, not tenant. When I want to remove this permission from the user, I want only to remove role this role from the user. It removes the tenant owner.
No, that means that maybe when they are linking this permission of a tenant owner permission to a certain role, so when you remove this role, this user also indirectly being removed. We cannot say whether the mistake is here or whether the mistake is here. We don't know. That's why we have to trace, right?
I asked to trace, yes.
So okay, for example, we remove a group or remove a role, then the add permission assignee. This table, the line should be removed for all users that I type to those two, to any of this. If I remove the role or I remove a group, every corresponding record in this table should be removed or reactivate or something.
No. Let's say, for example, I assign this role to have access to create invoice. Okay? Of course, I will save something here because it can create the invoice. Then I have a user, I remove the role here. Here I got no change.
No, you don't. If you remove the role,
If I remove the role, of course,
this one needs
this one I need to clean up.
the same as the group also.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
Because here there's a many to many.
Yeah,
Here there's a many to many. Here there's also a many to many. So there's three-way many to many. And then, but
I think
regardless of how many ways I'm grouping this into, I consider it as assignee.
Understand.
Assignee here, assignee. So if you're talking about the target, here is by create invoice by branch A, B, C, D company or supplier.
Something like okay. This is a target, you can say by
So do you think
criteria, is it?
the thing was physically removed or by the program?
So when you say, let's say for example, when you remove somebody from a row, I cannot tell you where is wrong because the mistake can be between, it can be inside here, it can be inside the row linking to here, it can be between the row and
We need to.
What's the relation between permission and role?
Huh?
How do you link the login subject and the role?
Login subject can be also assigned to role, just like how it is being assigned to the group.
In which table is this happening?
Okay, if you look at
And if not the intersection table you show.
no, there is already table being created. You can take a look here.
So it's another table, it's not the one you drew just now.
If you look at here, can you come over here? Okay, this login subject is linked to the group through a intermediate link table. So this will make these two many to many. And then this group is linked to the row through this table. So these two group to this row through this table, so it's a many to many relationship. This link to this through this table. So again, this is a many to many relationship, right? Okay. So if you ask me, how can I assign many user to many groups or many rows? There is an intermediate table here, so there's a this intermediate table, this intermediate table, this intermediate table, this intermediate table for this intermediate table for this intermediate table for this.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not just this one only here that
Oh,
handles everything.
no, this table link table is permission, definition, assignee, target link table.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, permissions, permission and role. So the permission assigned to the role, right? The role contain many permissions.
The permissions can be assigned because this assignee is a dynamic switch. So it can be assigned to role, it can be assigned directly to the login subject, it can be assigned to group.
So we can say roles are a group of permissions. Or
no. No. When you say roles are a group of permission, you are looking from this direction.
Okay.
When you say roles is a group of permission.
No. Permission as a definition. You mean?
Role is a group of permission definition.
Yes.
You should not say that. Then you can also say group is a set of permission definition. You can also say login subject is a set of permission definition.
Yes.
So I shouldn't be seeing from this perspective that role is a group of permission, group is a whatever permission. I should be looking from down up. That means that I have this list of permission. Is accessible by who? Right? Because when you start saying that role is a group of permission, you will mislead other people thinking that group is not a list of permission.
All of them actually.
But all of them can be a list of permission.
Actually,
and when you say all of them are a list of permission, then it doesn't give you much meaning already.
Actually, we apply this already even for when the login subject signed in the account. He says his own tenant, everything is right from the master side. And all we need now is to trace the code to find what is going on.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm doing with Ayman now.
Yeah, Ayman, do you have any problem, difficulty?
Right now I'm just following what's her request. Right now he told me to display what's the permission is based on the user. She wants me to display the permission that user has. That's what I'm doing.
I tried with him. If there is something, I think I need to refer to Shireen. Because she's the one, she can answer everything for the coding.
I wouldn't put too much hope on that at the moment.
Me too. Because of that, I just
One
come and ask you.
Yeah, so that is why if you face a certain error, if there's a screen capture or there's a Bitbucket URL or there's a Jira ticket number with certain commits or certain file name, then I can actually go in and analyze together with you and see how we can fix it.
One thing is when we display the permission of someone. So do we group them also like we said Al-Dali have a permission under this group and the permissions tied to that group and permissions given directly and permission by role. Do we display group them like that way or not?
Okay, this is a multiple question that you are asking. The first question is that it's like the report whereby you want to know that Al-Dali get to grade invoice, is it directly assigned to him or through the group? Maybe to group, then to the role and then to here, right? So this one is a report that we can generate maybe in IAM module. We have, right? Maybe
we have DTO model call user authorization DTO model.
Okay.
What this is containing is contain the GUID of the subject login and the permission list. Permission list of this user.
But permission list and where he got them from?
From assignee permission assignee.
No, anyway, this one is just a database query. I wouldn't worry too much. It can be sorted. Basically, when the assignee here can be giving this permission to a login or a group or something like that.
A group ID or something.
Yeah. So what Shireen did, which is quite good, was to actually make use of a union in a SQL statement to actually combine these three tables into one, so that the query can be fast and efficient. So when regardless of how we link this to the permission, and then this is just an additional attribute of the permission that is added. Then the API side is able to, when you make an API call, it can check whether you have the permission or not. Then that's most important. That's it.
Yeah, that's why I need this part.
Okay, first of all, if you look at the role here, this is a one-to-many relationship. One user, one login subject can have multiple group and multiple roles. This screen will definitely won't work for the universal. But having said that, even if we are not talking about the universal, because for this project we want to do something fast for our customers, then let's just say Seng Heng or DG only use a role, they don't use a group. Okay, let's just say. Even then, this title should not be status, because the status is usually active, inactive, or deleted. And then usually when you have an action, you may have more than one
remove, edit.
action. It not just remove, but you can edit. You can do.
Actually, it was update, but I want to do another thing. Just I committed.
Okay,
There's
no.
update.
Okay, no problem. Then the next thing is, here it says select permission. Now, admin itself is not a permission. But when you say that I want to be able to create an invoice, I want to be able to create a sales order, I want to be able to sell a product below cost, that is a permission, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that is a permission. Now this is not a permission. Now this is to me admin owner. This is more like role.
Exactly.
This is more like role, so it shouldn't be permission,
User role maybe also.
right? And then you are trying to link the permission to a, okay, assume this is a permission, and you're trying to link a permission to a user, but here you specify a role. It's a problem, because now I'm going to draw on the whiteboard here. Okay.
Vincent, before you proceed,
Yep.
I think there's a very huge misunderstanding of your understanding towards the screen than what I have designed.
Okay.
It's not proper. Your
No, wait. I will admit that some of the word choice might not be correct, but what you describe on that table, actually it's not there. It's actually in the page called role listing. The role setting page is actually to assign user specific in that tenant for them to create role. It's just that only. The function of this page is only that.
Okay.
The one with one user, they are related to what group or whatever it is, does not exist in this page at all.
So you are saying that this page
This page
is
by
to
assigning owner or admin. By assigning owner or admin, it's only to just give them permission to create role in that tenant only, and that's it.
okay.
By creating or what you said just
What is
now,
the title of this page? What is the applet of this page?
Role setting.
the applet itself is called tenant role maintenance, tenant role module.
Okay.
But this page is called role setting.
Okay.
So the table that you described just now actually is in role listing page, not in this page.
In the role listing.
Yeah, the first one there.
So this page, okay, wait I need to explain this concept because I'm very confused and I need you to clarify. Okay, so first of all, we know that we have a user, which is the login subject. Okay, we are good. Then we have group, then we have role. So this page, I see that there's a permission also.
The wording is wrong,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay, so you are saying that this page only linking the user to the role.
This page is only giving the, okay, there can be 500 login user ID in one tenant, but
Yeah.
not all of them can create roles to be used.
Understand?
Yeah.
So-
So this page is the function of this page is to assign some of the users to create role, and that's it.
Okay, so first of all, when you say that assign some of the user to this role, then it is just assigning the user to the role and linking the role to the user, or either way lah.
Vincent.
Not-
Am I right?
No, sorry.
So I don't understand, maybe my English not good. So I'm
Okay.
trying to understand when you say that this screen is to
Uh-huh.
create the role and maintain the role, and as well as assign the user to the role. So am I right to say that this page allow you to link between the user and the role? Then you say it is not. Then I'm very confused. I don't know. How about your understanding?
Vincent, for this point exactly, I argued with Shireen about that, and I told her admin and owner is not a role. It's something to do another thing. So I just told her,
Okay, in
show
order
me
for you to
the.
link, okay, remember you mentioned permission description, target, and assignee, right?
Aragon.
Wait.
Now I
Step by
get
step.
the idea from you and from the database. This is something missing.
Yes, there's something missing. Yes, now I understand. Permission description, target, and assignee.
Permission description.
Target and assignee, right? And it has to be happen at the same time. Am I right? From until here.
Say one more time the last two sentences.
Okay, there's three things for a permission to work: permission description, target, and assignee.
Permission definition as target and assign.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And in order for this whole thing to be working, it has to happen at the same time. We need to link these three things together at the same time.
Yes.
All right. So, assignee can be a specific user, can be a role, can be a group,
Yeah.
right? So, in order for that role to exist, we need to create a role. Am I right?
Yes.
So, am I right to assume that not everyone that is added into that tenant has the power to create role?
Yes, that's correct.
So, this page function as to let someone in that tenant to create that role in order to be used as an assignee later on. And that's it. That's the missing part of our data.
No, that is not. Okay. Let me complete first, because when you start talking, the programmer may not understand you very well, because when they are trying to understand these subject matters in an essay format, in a long wordy format, it is very difficult to visualize in technical. So what I'm trying to do is to say it clearly to all of you, so that be it the people who are not technical can understand in words, but the technical people will be able to understand it in database tables, the link and all that. So just now you were saying that you were asking me that, Vincent, is it right that during our previous discussion, whenever we create a permission, we have to link the permission and the assignee and the target all at once? So my answer to you is yes, that is correct. So we have to link a permission to who. This is the who. And this who can be a role, can be a group, can be a user. And then you want to grant a create invoice permission to who, and then for which branch, the target is which branch. You want to allow them a permission to create a sales invoice for branch A and branch B only, or all the other branches, or what, the target. Now, there is also another part whereby you actually linking the user with the role, or linking user with the group, and linking the group with the role. Now, this one, it can be, let's call it a step A. This one, let's call it a step B, or process B. Okay? And then we have another one that is a step C. That is a creation and the maintenance of this itself. Now, these three steps can happen in any random order. it is not right to say that you must do the step B and you must incorporate as part of step B a step A into it or a step C into it. Now, the difference between a step A and a step C is that a step A is actually linking. That means that you are not creating a new group, you are not editing a new group, you are not creating a new row, you are not editing it, you are just merely linking. You are just linking the user to the group, user to the row. Now this linking should have a different separate endpoint. Because associating a user to a row is an independent action that you don't need to create a row. Only when you create a row you can associate the user. No. You can anytime actually associate a user to a row or associate a user to the group or associate a group to this row anytime as a separate endpoint, where this endpoint actually allow the user to actually, given a group, who are the rows that are associated to it, given a group, who are the users that are associated to it, right? Which is the link table. You are playing with the link table. And the creation of the row, do you need to only create the row? Only when you want to assign permission, you create the row as part of the process? No. I can pre-create all the row, manager, finance, cashier, branch, this is what I can pre-create everything in advance. And then it's the same thing for this permission. This is also linked, this is also linked, this is also linked. So I can have another endpoint. I can have another endpoint that actually only insert the link and edit and search and query the link is fine, no problem. Now, just now when Samira was showing me that she's trying to assign linking this part, the user to the row, and then she go and search this database table. Listen, I managed to insert some record here. When she showed me the screen of actually doing this to this, she's trying to search in the database here. And then she told me that actually this endpoint don't exist, this endpoint don't exist, this endpoint don't exist.
I'm not sure if it exists
Maybe
or
they
not.
exist, yeah.
But when I asked Shireen last time, she told me use this endpoint. So when I use that endpoint, it's using that. And if you remember Hassan, I told her it's something not logical, but she said don't touch this one.
Okay.
That's it.
It's a little bit difficult in that situation. Actually, I thought it was working, but because for about 3 to 4 months, I know the structure may be a little bit difficult and complex to understand.
Now there is a difference between link user to role or assign user to role. We have to differentiate between these terms.
Okay. Link user to role and assign?
User to role. Assign you no. Assign user to role, it will use this one.
No.
No.
No, it's still here.
Here
Assign user to role also here. Not here. Nothing is
there's
due
just
to here.
permission to role or user.
Okay.
Nothing to do with here. Whenever you assign a user to role, it's only this. Whenever you assign a user to group, it's only this. When you assign a group to a row, it's only this. This is only applicable if you have a target and you have a permission that you want to link to any one of these.
You need to revise the endpoints. The endpoints.
I can see. I will read them. I started.
In your brain, you must be very clear. There should be one endpoint here for the link, a second endpoint here, a 3 endpoint here, a 4 endpoint, 5, 6. This is a user grade, maybe already exists. So here there's already 6 endpoint. This one is another endpoint, so total is a 7th. And also, this one I go one step higher. Whenever a tenant is being created, we have a permission here called tenant owner permission. Okay, and this tenant owner permission inside the tenant database is being assigned to the user who created it. Okay.
Yes.
After that, everything else works differently, because after that, this user, the first user, okay, it will create a role, or maybe the role already exists. It's called the tenant owner role,
Yeah, that one I use.
and then tenant role admin. Okay. Okay, this tenant role admin and tenant role something like that, it may have a tenant admin permission. Why do I need a permission tenant owner and a permission admin? Is because both of these permission, please do not confuse between role and permission. When here is saying that it's a tenant role owner and tenant role admin, is different meaning from a tenant owner permission. Don't confuse. So the difference between tenant owner and the tenant admin, they can do practically everything the same except for only one thing. Tenant admin cannot remove tenant owner, but tenant owner can actually remove tenant admin, and tenant owner can add more tenant owner. Tenant owner can remove each other if they are tenant owner.
All this is done.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
it's done.
So now, creating a role can only be done by the tenant owner permission or tenant admin permission. Tenant admin permission. Because anyway, owner have everything access. So tenant admin permission can create more roles. So you don't need to create another separate permission in order to create the role, because the tenant admin permission itself can create the role. Okay? Now, at this stage, not yet. Next time when we play with the group, or in the tenant we call it the team. In tenant we call it the team. In master we call it the group. In the tenant we call it the team. We can allow any of the members in the tenant to create a team within the tenant. Anybody can create, and by default we're using the same concept. If you are the one creating this team, I will insert in here that permission to manage team, and the assignee itself is the user, and there is a target. Now this target is the special one, where this target usually is the assignee here that we are using the role target and the group, all this one, the assignee that we refer to here, right? Correct or not? But in this special case, our target itself is the group. The target itself is the group. That means that you have a situation where it is like an inception, whereby you go into a dream, and inside the dream you have another dream, and then inside the dream you have another dream. So what happens is that when you actually set the assignee to inherit permissions based on group and role, but at the same time your target is targeted on the group itself. Understand? Because your permission to edit the group can be inherited and can be obtained from the group role and the permission, but at the same time your target is also the group itself. You can edit or not, the group is here by itself. Understand?
Yes.
Now that applicable to the group, but not the role. For the role, it's usually at the lower level where the system administration will actually decide whether they can edit or cannot edit. So on the time side, if in this screen they are trying to ask you to create a microservice where they link here to here or insert into here, then we are fainted already. And also, let's say for Aragon, on the screen like this, I need you to clean up the wording so that we don't have a situation where the misunderstanding in terms of the permission in something like that, so that we are all aligned. Because it's very easy to make mistake here. Okay. Norizan, do you have any questions? I'm so worried if you say everything okay.
No.
No, seriously. Yeah, I would rather you say I got a problem here or something like that. How about the Sengheng? Which one should we use? Then I feel more comfortable. Okay, Steven?
Why the screen? Why all the features are in one screen and why not broken up into separate screens for those different links? It's easier to understand actually.
Sorry, say again. Why? What? The
Like,
can you draw on the whiteboard or something?
okay, why can't this one be a grid, right, for them, like a select box for them to select, and why all these linkage are not in a separate screen? Why are they all in one screen? Yeah.
By right, it should be in a separate screen.
But it is already in the separate screen.
Is it?
The one here, it's actually in the specific active permission setting page. The one I already mentioned to you and I showed you many times before.
I see.
It's already there, and you want me to change separately by target assigning and permission description? It's already there.
Okay. Why
Okay.
why do you need to select the permission up here?
No. This
Right.
is not the permission that you are thinking.
No, on the screen, right? Why is there like, okay, tenant? Why the users are here? Why the permission is here?
No, it's wrong. He already said that permission is not a permission. That one, the wording is wrong.
The wording is wrong.
Yeah.
But what you have in mind as your permission, it's already here. It's not here. It's not the one.
Okay.
It's not the one. It's just maybe the wording here make other people confused. But Samira, you are not confused, right?
No, I'm
You are
not
still in line
confused
with-
because I find something not right. I just came to
Yeah.
Vincent.
So one last time, it's here.
Okay.
This is not. This is what Vincent said just now. Tenant owner, tenant admin, they can create role or do whatever they want. Just the endpoint of linking here and there is missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because not everyone in that tenant is supposed to be touching everything else. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
Maybe the endpoint is not missing. Maybe the endpoint is there, but we don't know. This one you can check with time.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
check the endpoint.
So basically here, as I said, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here is the 7 or more endpoint. Because even for this, linking to all these different, maybe there's a
So assign user to assign user to role. It's in linking, right?
Yeah.
In the linking, the endpoint is assign user to role. I told her about that. Okay, we will check. Actually, we need strong cooperation between front and back to review the codes on both sides.
actually the best is to have a full stack programmer. Because when you have a full stack programmer,
Especially for
some of the things, let's say for example, if let's say I use a chopstick myself, I can take it quite fast, right? You use the chopstick, you can also do quite fast. Maybe you can do it, but try if I hold one chopstick and you hold one chopstick, and both of us try to take a foot
we
out.
need to cooperate.
But
strong cooperation.
can. But the thing is, a lot of time when you have a certain situation, especially programming, why I can tell you that I keep wanting to rotate the programmers is because I can tell you that if a programmer, they can do front end and the back end together, one person, they can do the front end and back end, their productivity is equals to 5 to 10 times. You have 5 Angular programmer and
Yes.
5
Yes,
just a
right.
Java programmer. And yeah, that's the fact. So that's why why you see I want to invest in even Aragon to actually do some programming exposure. And what did I talk to you about the database last week? SQL.
The header and the
Actually,
Ergon, what I told you on also Monday, what I told you.
A lot of people told me many things. What are
I told you about programming also. You need to learn programming, right?
Yeah.
I told him the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. What were we saying?
I'm just saying that learning SQL doesn't need programming skills. It's easy to.
Yeah, I was showing you the database table. I mean the database table as well as the Excel spreadsheet, right? Yeah. So when you have this can grasp the concept very clearly, then when it comes to even the design of the user interface, your approach will be very logical, very.
I'm very clear actually. Until now, I'm still very clear. What you say just now is still in line. Just I need more practice to translate for programmers.
Actually, it's not his fault because what he said it's clear, but the work of the endpoint is the problem.
The
work of the
endpoint also the
Okay.
front end. You see the front end, there's a word permission there. The one I think
Just-
you
just-
take
but-
responsibility.
My side here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the back end.
Okay. Any other questions? Hey, where's Norizan?
She just come out. I don't want to call.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, stop.
Yeah. Okay. Stop. Thank you.